y se burlaba de ti. Cuántas veces quería y te besaba fingiéndote querer. Y se burlaba de ti. Cuántas veces quería y te besaba fingiéndote querer. Olvida al amigo, no debes recordarla. Mejor sería olvidarla y así será mejor. Olvida al amigo, no debes recordarla. Mejor sería olvidarla y así será mejor. Amigo, ¿por qué tomas tanto? ¿Por qué acabas tu vida? Amigo, deja de beber y escucha mis palabras y así la olvidarás. Para que esa mujer nunca te amó, esa mujer siempre te engañó y se burlaba de ti. Cuántas veces quería, nunca te amó, esa mujer siempre te engañó y se burlaba de ti. Cuántas veces quería y te besaba fingiéndote querer y se burlaba. Hello, I don't know if anybody can see me. I think my video is working. Let me know if you can hear me and you can see me, because I see, let me look this way. Oh, here we go. Ah, all right. Here we go. Hello, everyone. I just got some messages that some people are running late, so I just figured we can get started and then they can join. Oh, wait, we just got one other person joining. Okay, so I put on some music because I figured it's probably better than the silence. Just sitting there looking at the screen. But then I was like going through Pandora and I couldn't find any music that was like typical Peruvian music. So I just like, let me put this on for a little bit. All right, so let's get started. My name's Amaryllis. I am the owner and founder of Ace Travels. I am coming today, sorry, because I want to share all about Peru, traveling to Peru, and just how amazing of a country it is. I had the luxury of actually getting to visit the country, and I have nothing but wonderful things to say about it. So if you've never been, Peru is a magical, magical country. It has so much to see and do. It is in South America. It's the third largest country, and it's steeped in history, culture, and traditions. It's really a country that just begs and begs to be explored. To see and do all that there is in Peru would probably require a couple of months, to be honest with you, because there's so much to do and to see. Peru's topography makes the country picture perfect, but the terrain really creates some challenges in terms of getting around. The mountainous areas can soar as high as 22,000 feet. Think of, you're talking about the Peruvian Andes here. There are rainforest areas that are super thick and have never really even been explored. And the coastal areas can vary. Some are rocky, some are desert-like, or they're split by rivers that then spill into the Pacific Ocean. No matter the type of traveler that you are, whether you're a history buff, an adventurer, or a foodie, Peru has something for you. It has so much activity that it'll satisfy any and every appetite. As I mentioned, I visited Peru in 2019, and I did a lot. I was there for 10 days. And let's just say that it didn't even scratch the surface of what the things I didn't even scratch the surface of what you can do or what you can experience in the country. So with that, I'm going to introduce to you today Cecilia Mendesu Tello. She is a marketing specialist with Prom Peru. For those who are not familiar with Prom Peru, it is an agency of the Ministry of Foreign Trade and Tourism. They're responsible for the promotion of Peru as it pertains to tourism, the overall image of the country, and sorry, just admitting somebody else into the group, the overall image of the country and its exports as well. She lives and works in Lima, Peru, and honestly, I can't think of anyone more perfect than a local Peruvian to share the beauty and the wonders that you can experience in her magical country. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Cecilia and let her do her magic. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, here we go. Hi, hello. Thank you for the invitation. Yes, my name is Cecilia. I'm a U.S. market specialist from Peru, and Marilis was really gentle inviting me to this conversations and talk about Peru. She really introduced Peru pretty well. And today I would like to give you like more explanations and more resources and more ideas about what you can visit in my destination. So I prepared a presentation for you so we can go to the different regions and attractions that we have so you can start thinking about Peru a little bit more. Okay, so Amarilis, I will share my screen now.
I made you the host. I made you the host. Yeah. And you guys feel free to ask questions as she goes through this. This is, you know, she's obviously sharing quite a bit of information, but this is meant to be engaging and interactive. So don't feel like you have to wait till the end to ask questions. If anything comes.
Yes, please. Yes, if you have any questions, you just can interrupt me. Okay, so let's see. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. So yes, so welcome to Peru. The first thing that I would like to do is to talk a little bit about some general information about the destination. So maybe help you when you're planning your trip to Peru. Okay. I guess that most of you are from the US or North America. If not, just tell me. But yes, the connectivity between Peru and North America is pretty good. We have a good connectivity. Well, before COVID-19, we had over 100 flights per week. So we are getting back the connectivity. Right now we have 3 frequencies that are running. That is from New York, from LA, and from Miami. So we expect that sooner we will have more connectivity. But for sure, it's just you know, it's just the COVID time that is making all these changes. But we will be fine. Okay. Then we have a similar time zone, so you don't have this like jet lag. You know, there's just 1 or 2 hours difference between your time in the US. You don't need a visa to come to Peru. There are some countries, I think Brazil, but I'm not sure if Brazil is asking for a visa now, but for example, in Peru, visa is not required. And about the language, we speak Spanish, and we have Aymara and Quechua as second languages in Peru, but English is speaking in most of the touristic destinations. So there's not a really language barrier when you come to Peru. About domestic flights, as Amarilis was saying, our geography is diverse. We have coast, we have mountain, we have jungle. So it's not that easy to go by driving cars, but connectivity, domestic flights, it's pretty easy. You know, you don't need to spend more than 1 hour, 1 hour and a half to arrive in any of the other regions that you want to visit. And we have a good connectivity between the regions. If you are flying, there are some routes that you can do it also by driving. And I will let you know a little bit more when we enter into the regions in this presentation. We have mild weather. We don't have extreme temperatures as in the US, for example. Normally, we only have a rainy season, which is from December to February. But even though it's not a problem when you want to run your activities as normal. So yes, the weather is not a problem in Peru. Acclimatization. Yes, acclimatization is important when you arrive to Peru because most of the tourists want to go to Cusco, for example, and Cusco is in the Andes and it's high. So if you come to those regions, you need to acclimatize. But what do you have to do? Normally take a good mate de coca, rest the first day, or do some short walks during the first day until you acclimatize, and then you won't have problem. Unless that you want to do a trekking route, so you will need a little bit more of time. But otherwise, like the normal touristic activity with 1 day of acclimatization in the Andes will be fine. Okay. Electricity is different than in the US. We use 120 volts. So you need to bring your adapters or transformer for the electricity. Okay, our currency, we have Nuevo Sol as our currency, but we also accept dollars. You normally in the big cities and in some small towns, you find those offices for exchange money. So there's no problem, but otherwise it's better if you always bring some cash, you know, when you go to the different places, because sometimes small towns won't receive a credit card, for example. So you need to take this into consideration. Bring your credit card, but also have some cash. And sometimes you are in a small shop and you want to buy stuff, and they cannot accept credit cards. They are not able to do that. So yes, just make sure.
I learned
Yes.
also, like in Cusco, when you go into the market with the stalls and you're trying to buy, like most of them accept only cash. So you said it's good to have the cash with you.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Now, yes.
I was just saying that in Cusco, when you go into the stalls, like the market where all the stalls are, in the center of town, they ask for cash usually. You can't really pay with credit cards. Or at least that was my experience.
Yes. Yes. Well, now something important to talk about this COVID times is about the health and safety protocols. Right now, Peru is open for international tourism. Like months ago, we were requiring a mandatory quarantine. We are not doing this anymore. Now we are just requesting a PCR test before you travel, and antigen test once you arrive. Both have to be negative. But then you can do your activities as normal. The government had got the WTTC stamp that is known as Safe Travel, that is a certified that we are a safe destination for international travelers. And we have developed also procedures and protocols to reopen most of the touristic places, such as restaurants, hotels, where we travel agencies. So yeah, we are working hard. Okay. Right now, just to give you some updates about the restrictions, right now we are in phase 4. Well, depends on the regions. And the cases that they have in each region, we are dividing the country in phases. And each phase has some different restrictions, such as the curfews, that it's from, I don't know, 11 p.m. to 4 a.m., or any other kind of this restriction, like using double mask, no? So for this, if you're planning to come to Peru, I always recommend you to get first-hand information from the IPERU office. Here is the number, here's the email where you can write and ask for updates, because during these times everything is changing so fast. So it's better to have the information, the most secure information, and this is the official office of Peru.
Okay. Cecilia, are you sharing something right now? I only see. Yes. So I see your presentation, but I don't see a slide with an email address, if that's what you're sharing.
My presentation is with the IPERU office, and this is and I'm sharing the number and the email. Can you see it? No.
No, I don't see it. But
no, I can't see it either.
Yeah, I just see your title slide.
Hold on. So let's see, I will stop sharing and I will share it again. Okay, hold on. Can you see now?
Yes, now I see it.
Yeah, so this is the telephone number and the email, so you can have information firsthand when you come to the country. Right now, for example, there are some news that that the ministry is elaborating a proposal to let the people vaccinated to enter with less restrictions than now. You know, we are requesting our PCR and antigen, but it's in a project now. It's not confirmed, but I know that it will come soon. So that's why I was asking you to always check with the office about the measures and anything related to the COVID when you travel to Peru. Okay, and something that you can also do is hold on. You see, I just changed the slide. Can you see my slide, Amarilis? This is slide. This is
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Announcement.
Yes. Yes. So the second resource that you can check is the Peruvian webpage, the official Peruvian webpage. That is that one that is in the top. And there you always have some pop-ups that give you information updated about the COVID-19. So you can know what is happening in Peru right now. And then you can explore the platform. There are a lot of attractions, experiences for you to inspire you, you know? So let's talk about Peru. Let's talk about the destinations and what we offer when you come to Peru. The first thing that you have to know about Peru, it's that we are one of the most mega diverse countries. We have the 70% of the planet biodiversity, and 17.6 of the Peruvian territory is a protected area. So we have a lot of natural areas for you to visit that are close to the archaeological site, that are, or it's, for example, if you go to the jungle itself, you know, we have a lot of, we have a couple of strong national reserve parks that you can visit. We will talk about this later. And we have 12 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And something important is that Peru is a culinary destination. You know, we won for 8 consecutive years this award, and really it has changed a lot in the maybe the last 20 or 30 years in Peru, but the gastronomic offer, the restaurants, the diversity of gastronomic experiences that doesn't mean that you just come to a restaurant, but you go and experience from the potato park and learn about the harvesting from the people that used to work on the lands. You know, these kind of experiences is something that you can find here in the territory. So please, when you come to Peru, just consider as part of your itinerary the gastronomic side, because the food is just amazing. And I'm saying that not only the fact is that we have more than 30,000 varieties of potatoes, and you come here, don't forget to drink the pisco sour. The pisco is our national brandy, and it's very good. And most of my friends that when come to Peru, they just love it. So I really recommend you. So I just wanted to mention it before we got into the regions, into the itineraries that we used to sell when you come to Peru. So let's move to this. Yes, sure.
Two quick points. One, I don't know, is anybody else getting feedback? Because I keep hearing, but I don't know if it's my internet.
No, I was hearing it a little bit too.
Okay.
But now it's good. Now it's good.
Okay. All right. No, I think it might be when you move, Cecilia, sometimes with the headphones, it kind of gives a little bit of feedback, but I'm not 100% sure. I thought maybe it was my internet because it's a little shady sometimes. So just so you're aware, I'll let you know if it happens again, but sometimes you come in super clear and then other times it kind of goes out a little bit. Then I wanted to add a point to the whole culinary discussion. So
good.
one of the things in Peru that you have to try when you're there, and I don't know if you're going to cover this later, Cecilia, is chifa, which is it's a Peruvian, it's like a Peruvian Chinese rice, right? Is the best way to describe it, Cecilia.
Mm-hmm.
And it is delicious. Actually, Peru
Yeah.
has one of the highest populations of Chinese immigrants that live in the country. That, you know, they back in the early 1900s, a lot of Chinese immigrants migrated to Peru, and they've really integrated themselves into the culture. And out of that, there's a lot of cuisine that has been born, and it is so delicious. It's amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, well, not only Chinese, you know, there are a lot of different influences because we were conquered by Spaniards, so the food that they found here and all that thing that they brought with them, there was a kind of Indian food, Italian food as well, and then the Chinese, when the Chinese immigrate in late just after, you know, all these are part of what is our gastronomy now. And for example, one of the best restaurants in the world is in Iran. It's Naim. It's a restaurant that is focused on this, where you were talking, a fusion of Peruvian and Chinese food, which is pretty good. But then we have other kind of restaurants, as for example, Meal, which is in Cusco, that is just focuses on the Andean products and teach you, and it's not only the food that you taste, they teach you how those products come into your plate, into your table. So it's a pretty good experience when to include this as part of your itinerary in Peru. So let's move now to Peru, to the destinations. Where do we start? Okay, so when you come to Peru, the first place that you visit is Lima. Okay, and you have Lima. You have here a map of Peru, and it's shaded in red, so you can see where it's located in the Peruvian map, in Peru's map. And Lima, it's the capital, and it's a hub for international travel. So you always come and arrive in Lima. And sometimes people think, oh, I just want to go to Machu Picchu. They just don't spend time in Lima. But Lima, it's pretty special, it's pretty nice, and it deserves to be explored. This is, for example, the Costa Verde cliffs that are near to Miraflores and Barranco neighborhoods. And this is the most touristic part, where most of the hotels are located. So you can have those views if you walk through the Miraflores district, or Barranco included. But then you also have the downtown Lima that is maybe just half an hour from the Miraflores district, depending on traffic. But it's where you will find all the old buildings. The buildings come from the colonial time. And there you will find the government palace, the cathedral, some nice churches. So it will deserve to be visited. And something that you have to consider, sometimes I know you have come from the US, you must be used to the big buildings, but what I wanted to say is that Lima is not only it's not a small city. I mean, it has also the modern side, and it's pretty big. We are more than 10 million people living in this capital, so it's huge. And the gastronomy sense, as I was mentioning, is something that you need to include in your itinerary, and most importantly, don't forget to select those restaurants that you want to visit in Lima. And then in the other regions, you can choose between some others, but in Lima is concentrating most of the nicest and the diverse offer related to food and gastronomy. This is one picture of one of the neighborhoods. For a drink, there are bars and nice restaurants for dining, for if you want to have dinner. Sorry.
Cecilia, we're getting the feedback.
Yes.
We're getting that feedback again. It was hard to hear that entire part about Miraflores.
Yeah.
Since Miraflores part.
Yeah, it was like it was started getting robotic, like I couldn't really hear you very well.
Okay, so we can.
That was weird. I don't know what happened. The presentation's moving fine. It's more the audio.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
start again to see if oh. Hold on. It's a pity that this, I don't know. Will be my connection, but I'm close to the router.
Yeah, it just happens here and there, like it comes in and out.
All right.
That was a little fuzzy, but I could hear you. I could make it out. That's okay. I'm having issues. I'm having issues with Zoom on my end. I have like 3 people who are telling me they're in a waiting room and I can't get them in. I don't know what's going on. So you keep going, no worries. I'm trying to figure out.
Okay, so I will share again my screen. Okay, can you see my screen again?
Yes.
Right. So I was moving to these pictures to show a little bit more about Lima. Something important is that most of the people think that most of the archaeological sites are out of the city, or I mean in other regions. But Lima also has 2 important places to visit if you want to do if you're a culture lover. You know, you have Pachacamac, which is 1 hour and a half, 1 hour, yeah, 1 hour from the city. And you have also Caral, which is a full day. It's not that near, it's 3 hours from the city, but it's a special place because of the because it's the first civilization in this area, like 5,000 years ago. They were established there, so it's very important because it's one of the oldest one here in Peru. Okay, so there are 2 archaeological sites that you must consider. And then what we normally do is go south. You know, normally Peru, when you come and you do like a standard itinerary, you go and visit the south. If we go to the south, the first region that we will find is Ica, and Amaryllis knows well Ica region. Ica region is in the coast, and what is special about this region? It's the offer near to the desert of Ica, and you have dunes, like sand dunes. You have here, for example, the Huacachina, which is a nice place with an oasis that is just maybe 15 minutes from Ica city. That you can visit, and people here do sunboarding, 4x4 safari expeditions. Sorry, you can also have an experience like doing a picnic in a nice afternoon. So and you can taste their
Oh, I can't hear again.
Cecilia, sorry. We're having issues hearing you again.
Yeah.
Cecilia, can you let the people who are waiting in the waiting room in? That's why I can't see them, because you're the host, so that I don't get to see them. I just saw it pop up.
I don't think she can hear. Can she hear?
The devices.
You should see, there should be a pop-up that says that there's people in the waiting room.
Yeah.
Can you let them in? Ah, there
Maybe
we
it's
go.
this when they're connecting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
I think that when somebody is coming into the room, the connection cut off. I'm not sure. It's just.
So there's no one else? Because there was two other people saying that they were waiting. Sorry. No?
I think there are more people.
Okay, it's all right. Thank you.
I don't see much more people coming.
Yeah, you might see the name. You might see it pop up as you're doing the presentation. You can just let them in.
Okay, great. Wow, I hope they won't have more interruption action. Well, I was talking about Ica. So the Ica region is pretty well known because of the pisco and the wineries that we have in that area, but also because of the geography that is near to the coast. We have some national park located there where you can find sea lions and Humboldt penguins. So the offer is vast in this area. And something important is that from Ica, if you go to the south, just 3 hours more, you will find the Nazca line, which is something special and unique that you won't find in any other place. This is from one of the pre-Incan cultures, and it was supposed to be kind of a astronomic calendar. So most of the people come with curiosity and used to overfly to see the lines because they are huge. This is just not a small design. It's just huge. You need to take a plane to see it from over the over the sky. Then, like if we just move from Ica, we go more in the south, we will find Arequipa. Arequipa is a region that is well, the city of Arequipa is located more in the mountains, but this one, for example, is a picture of the city, and it's located near to the Misty volcano. And this area has a lot of different volcanoes near to it. So this is something particular about it. And that makes Arequipa to be like this. You know, you will find the city that it is known as the White City, and it is because they use the sillar, which is a stone from the volcanoes, made from the volcanoes. That are part of the structure, the architecture of the city. So you will find a lot of streets and buildings with this peculiarity, with this way of constructions, the building, the color, the use of the materials. This, for example, Santa Catalina Convent, which it's a convent, but it's like a small city inside of the big city of Arequipa. So it's a pretty good, nice place to visit when you come to the city. Then the food. I was telling you about the food in Lima. You need to stop at the restaurants because most of the top ones are in Lima. But Arequipa, it's a region that was served to stop by the picanterias, which are the traditional restaurants in Arequipa. They are pretty good. This picture, for example, is from a rocoto relleno that you think that maybe is too spicy, but it is not. It's more like a pepper, but like the green pepper. It's not as spicy at all, and it's really tasty. So I will recommend you to try when you come. Okay, and something that you can also do in Arequipa is go to the mountains, inside of the mountains of Arequipa. So you take, it can be a full day, but normally people spend at least 1 day in the Colca Canyon to see the condor overflying. And we have some lookouts in that area. So you can go really early in the morning, just in a corner pretty close to you, so just 1 meter from you, just flying, you know, around that canyon. And when you go to the Golden Canyon, you can also visit some rural communities in that area. They are pretty nice. They teach you their customs. And you can even wear their attires when you are there, depending on what kind of activities you want to include on that. But there's, it's a tourism based, it's a community tourism based what you can experience there in that area. And then we are moving to Cusco. So Cusco, most of the people wants to go to Cusco. Cusco is special. Cusco is special because of Machu Picchu. And yes, I lived there for 2 years, and I can say that there are a lot of things to do in Cusco. You never stop finding new things to do. It's a beautiful city. You can have, for example, this kind of experiences that you feel that it's an Andean city. It's not just a big city. It's just an Andean city. You find this kind of walls in the street. You find this kind of people wearing their own clothes from the mountains, you know, and it's normal. Sometimes people say no, but maybe they are just wearing this for tourists. But no, they come from different small towns near to the Cusco city, and they used to dress like this. So it's their daily clothes. So yeah, it's real. And then you have different expressions from the encounter of Spaniards and Incas. This one, for example, is Coricanchas. You can see you have a part that is made of a stone that is Incan, but over the Incan, it comes the architecture, the Spaniards architecture, and this express the confluence of both those cultures and how and the syncretism that we got from that colonial time, you know. And this is just one expression. There are plenty more. Another important thing, for example, and what is near from Cusco is Sacsayhuaman. That's an archaeological site. You can visit the archaeological site, but if you are lucky, you are in June, you can also do or visit the Inti Raymi celebration. Inti Raymi celebration, the festivity, it's an Incan festivity that lasts until today, and you will find a lot of people from Cusco that get prepared just for this festivity and get dressed with those dresses from the Incas time, and it's a celebration to the sun, to the solstice of June, to fertility, for harvesting, asking for a good harvesting. So it's pretty big, and it's really nice. And then when you move, sometimes I want to stop here by saying that when you arrive in Cusco, Cusco is high, it's in the Andes, and some tourists just prefer to go to the Sacred Valley first. Sacred Valley is like 1.5 hours from the Cusco city. And why? Because it's less altitude. So for those who are scared about altitude sickness, it's a good place to rest. So you can have you don't need to acclimatize that much. Okay, and between Cusco and Sacred Valley, you will find Moray and Maras. Moray and Maras. Moray is an archaeological site that is from the Incas time, and Maras is pretty near to Moray, and there you will find also the salt ponds that are right now they are operating, and they are managed by the villagers from that area, and it's pretty nice. I don't have a picture here now, but it's a pretty nice for you to consider to visit both when you go to that, you go there. And the offer that you have in Sacred Valley, yes.
I'm going to interrupt you again. I'm sorry. Can you see if there's anybody in the waiting room? Because I have a few people who are texting me saying they're in the waiting room.
Where do I check if they're in the waiting room?
Go click down on participants.
I didn't see any pop-up.
Click on participants down at the bottom.
Okay, here.
And then you're gonna see a white box show up on your right-hand side, and you should see people, like you should see names up in the waiting room. You can just click on those. Just admit all. There we go. Now they're coming in. Oh,
connection,
now they're all flowing in.
connection get cut off.
It's okay. You're good. You're still on. I can see everything.
Yeah, I think the connection get cut off when we are adding participant, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh
All
my
right.
God,
You're on, Sharon.
I'm sitting here texting you like, oh, it wasn't.
It's okay. All right. Well, we're now in Cusco in the Sacred Valley area of Peru. So
Okay, just a resume for those that just came. We were talking about Peru, and we were starting by Lima, which is the hub, the capital city. I was recommending all of you to stop and try to spend time and go to good restaurants in Lima and spend time, because there's a lot to do in Lima. And I was going south and stopping by Ica region and Arequipa region. Ica region is more located in the shores of the Pacific Ocean, and we have a lot of activities related with the sand, with the dunes, you know, on that area. And then I went down to the Arequipa, and I was telling you about Arequipa and the particularity about that city and the sillar construction of that area, and the options that you have to experience and go and see the condor pretty near in the Colque Canyon. And then I moved to Cusco, and I was telling you about Cusco, that is a big city. I was talking about the high altitude, and I was recommending you maybe to spend time in Sacra Valley if you are if you don't want to have a high altitude sickness. And yes, that's a pretty short resume what I was telling you today. And right now, what I'm showing is some pictures of one of the hotels that you can find on the Sacred Valley. They are really good. So it's not only just a hotel that is for, you know, for spend the night, but for enjoying the, you know, the area, the activities that they have. Spend some time in the hotel. And they, for example, in the Urban Explora, they used to have excursions set up the property that you can do also on there. Okay. Let me see. I can.
yeah, there, for those that just joined too, one of the things that Cecilia talked about at the beginning was, or as it pertains to once you go into areas with high altitude in Peru, it's important to give yourself a day to acclimate to the altitude, because otherwise you will get we will feel sick. I can promise you will feel something. Sorry, Sharon, what'd you say?
What is the altitude compared to Jackson Hole, Wyoming?
I think it depends what part.
I don't know what's.
Yeah, what's the altitude? What's the altitude?
Yeah, I don't know about Wyoming.
Like 10,000 feet.
Okay, so I can tell you, if you go to Rainbow Mountain, it's like 19,000 feet.
Oh, so yeah. If
And I think
going
Cusco,
to the mountains
I think
Cusco is like 11,000 feet.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if you're accustomed to skiing in Wyoming or Colorado, it would be the same kind of altitude adjustment.
I think I don't know that Colorado's as high, Sharon. I mean, I don't know that Colorado's as high. I mean, I've been to several different places in Colorado, and I can tell you, I didn't feel it anywhere as much as I did when I went to Peru. Cusco wasn't so bad for me. I needed like half a day to get adjusted. But when I went up to Rainbow Mountain, that was a whole nother ball game.
Well, that's really good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you for that perspective.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we were talking about Cusco City, in the middle of the route between Machu Picchu and Cusco, and then you know, the cherry of the ice cream. I don't know, Machu Picchu. No, it's a special place to go. I cannot tell you, like, something that we are dealing with is that there's a lot of people going to Machu Picchu right now. All the tourists that come to Peru want to go there. And I won't say don't go, because it's a beautiful place. It's a special, you know, but I think that we have a lot of more archaeological sites similar to Machu Picchu, but what makes Machu Picchu special is the surrounding, the cloud forest, the location of this archaeological site. So yes, go there. Right now it's open. We are with 30% capacity right now, but it would depends on how the things are going in future. So maybe we get 40% or 50% in a couple of months. It depends more on COVID-19 right now. But yeah, so this is something that it's a must when you come to Peru.
I can tell you because I know I have a few people on here who really believe in the whole thing of like feeling energy. You feel the energy when you're at Machu Picchu. It is undeniable. Like it is just, it feels like, I know this sounds really cheesy, but it feels like magic when you're there, just seeing this and like knowing that you're on the same grounds as where like the Incas were, and just how you look at it and you're like, how did they manage to build this on top of this mountain? It's so high up, and it's just unlike anything I've ever seen, and unlike anything I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, so this is my marvelous Machu Picchu. And then we are moving to another different region, which is Puno. Now, Puno is higher than Cusco. So if Amarilis was feeling sick when she was doing the Rainbow Mountain, this place will be similar to that area. It's around 12,400 feet. So you need to acclimatize a lot here, but it will deserve to be visited. Puno, you will find the Lake Titicaca. You can, for example, from up to Puno, you can arrive by train. If you go from Arequipa to Puno, you can fly from Cusco to Puno if you want, or you can take a full day tour that takes you from Cusco and ends in Puno. You visit the South Valley, where you will find other different archaeological sites when you go through that. Oh, sorry. Through that route, and you find it's the Lake Titicaca. And this is special because of the community-based tourism that you can do there. Here, for example, there's a picture of the Urus community. The Urus community lived in the floating islands that are made of totora. So as you can see, so they're artificial, and they do it, you know, as they do their houses, as they do their boats, and the experience is it's pretty funny. They are nice people, and they teach you everything about how they live there.
And for those that don't know,
also,
I just want to clarify one thing. For those who don't know, tortugas they're basically reeds. They make their floating islands on this lake out of reeds. And they actually have to change them out every so often because they start to rot underneath. So they are constantly like recreating the islands and updating and maintaining them. And there's a bunch of different islands. Some are much further away. They don't really see as much tourism. And then there's some that are like near Puno, which is the main city, or the main town, I should say. Sorry, Cecilia. Just wanted to clarify for folks.
no, it's good. It's good. It's good to clarify. Sometimes I think that people knows, but because I know it, but yes, it's good to clarify this. Yes. And yeah, so then what you can visit is Suyustanchupos. We have plenty of different archaeological sites coming from different cultures, pre-Incan cultures. Something that I want to point out here is that most of the people come to Peru thinking about the Incas as go to Mexico to think about, I don't know, about Mayas, for example. But Peru have plenty more of pre-Incan cultures, and we have a lot of archaeological sites coming from those cultures: Chimu, Moche, Chachapoyas, you know. So yes, don't think just only about that. They are like ancestors before of the Inca that were forming this area, that were constructing, that were building their cities here. And here in Puno, in the Lake Titicaca, you have the community-based tourism. I had the chance to go once, and I can say it's a beautiful experience. They are pretty welcoming people. They teach you everything what they do. The houses are, you can do a homestay in there and do and spend the day as they do normally, what they do during the day, and go to the land and harvesting something, and then play, and then eat, and then have a reunion in the night. You can dress up with their clothes. You are in their kitchens that are made of that they use only wood, you know, to cook those stuff that are just with wood, so the food tastes different. So it's special. And the nights there are just you know, there are a lot of stars during the night on those islands. So for me, one of the best memories that I have from that area was the nights there. It was starry skies, a lot of stars on that.
Well, I'm sure it's
And
super
then
dark, so you can see all the stars super clearly.
Yes, beautiful. And then we have a festivity. This is a Candelaria festivity. If you have the chance to come to Peru in February, try to include it. It's huge. People get prepared the whole year.
Oh, I think you froze up a little bit there. What did you say? You come in February?
It was because there was one person coming. And each time that someone is coming, I think that the connection gets good. Okay, so I was telling you about the Candelaria festivity, which is in Puno. And if you come in February, try to include it. It's amazing. It's huge. People get prepared the whole year. They pay for those attires like 1,000 soles. And they just wants to be there during the Candelaria festivity. And they are dancing in the streets. So yeah, it's a traditional festivity that is pretty nice. It's beautiful. Okay, so then we were talking about, you know, going to the south. You go to Lima, you go to Ica, Arequipa, you go and visit the Machu Picchu, and then you go Puno with the tourism, with the visiting the communities. But then we have jungle. As I was saying at the beginning, Peru has coast, has mountain, has jungle. So maybe you link the jungle with Brazil, but actually the jungle starts in Peru. Though that the Amazon River that ends in Brazil starts in Peru. So we have and the 60% of our territory, it's jungle. So I had a couple of friends from the US that came once, and they were expecting to go to Machu Picchu. And I remember that he said to me, yeah, Machu Picchu was special, but I was surprised of the jungle of Peru. You know, I didn't expect to find this. And probably you don't link Peru with the jungle. And it will surprise you, because I think that I've been in the US sometimes, like 3 or 4 times, and I think that sometimes when you travel to a different country, what makes your experience special is the people, is the experience, yes, but it's different. It's the things that are different from the place that you come, where you find something really new, no? And you'll find this in the jungle of Peru. And you have the chance to travel to Madre de Dios, which is near Cusco. You normally fly to Madre de Dios, and it's included as an extension when you ask your travel agent, as Mariel is, okay, please prepare me an itinerary that normally go Lima, no sé, Cusco and Arequipa, but also include Madre de Dios as an extension. People used to do it as an extension. And in Madre de Dios, you will find for those who are nature lovers, sometimes they just come and stay months, you know, inside of the national parks. We have Manu National Park here, and we have also Tambopata Reserve. So the chance to be in the ecolodges, you're arriving by the city, and then you just go to the ecolodges that are near to the city. It's just 45 minutes by boat, and you're inside of the jungle, you know, having this kind of experience. This one, for example, is Lake Sandoval, and you will find a family of otters that live there, and then you find those palm trees that aguaje palm trees that are original from that area. And then you it's not only the encounters, because you never know if you will see a jaguar. It's difficult to see a jaguar, but you will see maybe a ronsoco, which is an endemic animal from that area. But when you go and stay in those ecologists, they will teach you how the nature interact. You know, the ants, this tree, this frog, this spider you will find there, and the storyteller, they teach you about nature. So it's pretty rich when you go to those places, and you can experience the jungle not only from the land, but also from the canopy walks. And you can go into the top of the trees and do some and walk through the canopies and see the birds closer, for example. And then,
And
as I was
Cecilia,
saying, you know, yes.
Cecilia, one question. You guys, you're the country that has you guys have the pink dolphins, right? In
Yes,
Amazon?
I was just about to talk about this.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry, I got ahead of you.
yeah, yeah. So yes, the biodiversity in this area is just amazing. And then, for example, we have, as I was saying, 60% of our territory is jungle. Okay, but there are two.
You're freezing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're breaking up again. Sorry. Yeah, you were breaking up again.
Okay.
Okay, you're clear.
Oh,
Now you're clear.
Okay.
I think it might I think it might be the headphones sometimes when you move, but that's okay. Let's keep going. Sorry.
Okay, so then Loreto, the Loreto area in Iquitos, the city of Iquitos. This is the second place where people used to go when they want to visit the jungle. And the difference between Madre de Dios and Loreto is that normally when you go to Madre de Dios, you are more inland. You walk through the jungle, and you do like 1 hour and a half excursions, different 1 hour and a half excursions. But in Madre de Dios, you also have ecologists, but you also have river cruises. So you can go through the Amazonas, through the Pacaya-Samiria National Reserve in a cruise with air conditioning, with all the facilities, and just take your boat to do some excursions on the creek and do some kayaking on the river. But most of the route you do it by boat, by the river cruise. You know, so that's the main difference between the Loreto area and Madre de Dios area. And here you will find, for example, Pacaya-Samiria National Reserve. You will find this kind of pictures as I'm showing you. You know, the afternoon in the jungle is just amazing. You know, with those river that just mirror the jungle in a nice afternoon. The noises of the insects, the encounters with different nature, the chance that you can do, I don't know, piranha fishing or kayaking or drink or swim with pink dolphins, as Amarillo was mentioning. You will find also this kind of trees, huge trees, like century trees, like 200, 300 years old. And then the biodiversity. And here, for example, you have some special animals. When you go to the jungle, you go normally on a night safari to find caimanes, or you can find a sloth just near to your room. And then the pink dolphins, as Maris was saying, they are special because they are endemic species from that area. And there are a lot, so it's not that you have to be lucky to see them. They are just there. So it's pretty nice. When you are in the cruise, for example, you can be just having your lunch and seeing the pink dolphin near to your river cruise, which is pretty nice. So I would recommend you to consider this. And then I'm just moving to another area. So we were talking about Machu Picchu, how special is Machu Picchu. Well, the citadel that is in the Amazonas region, which is in the north of Peru, is also special. It's also in the top of a mountain. The surroundings are cloud forests, the same as Machu Picchu, and it's not from the Incas, it's from the Chachapoyas culture, Afro-Incan culture. So it's a different one. It's a new area that we are promoting now in Peru. As a tourism board, it's something we are doing force to try to promote that area and let people know that we have this too. Before we were doing, because lately the government were doing some investments about the access to there. You know, we have a better communication between the Chachapoya city to the archaeological sites, and we have one of the highest waterfalls in that area. There's a lot of waterfalls around where you can do some outdoor activities. You can also visit the Chachapoyas, the Lima Museum to learn about the Chachapoyas culture. So it's a pretty special and uncommon area. If you have the time, or if you are coming for a second time to Peru, I think that's an area that you need to explore. Okay, and
That's where I'm going.
yeah, so yes. So then we have Ancash. So if you see the map, we were talking about the jungle of Madre de Dios, of Loreto, and then we moved to Amazonas, which is right here. If you see that I'm moving into the map. And then we are going to the last part of Peru, which is the north of Peru. If we consider if Lima is the hub for us, the north of Peru will be this area here. And Ancash is a region that is known because of the high peaks, and most of the people that love climbing come to Peru to that area. Okay, before this place was known and we were promoting more it around the world, people were coming just because, you know, those that are specialized in climbing used to look for the places where the highest peaks are, and this is a place where you can find the highest peaks, as the Huascaran peak in that area. So what you will find here is a lot of this climbing activities, trekking routes, and as they are near to those peaks, the lakes that you will find here, they have a particular color. You have seen turquoise color, this kind of blue that you can see in this picture. So they are special too. And there's another different culture, the Chavin de Huanta from the Chavin culture. So now if you are listening to me during this presentation, you have heard about the Chachapoyas culture, about the Incas, about the Aymara and Puno, now about the Chavin. So there are a lot of pre-Incan cultures and archaeological sites that you can visit. And this is an area that was established by the Chavin culture. So this is the Huascarán National Park. So that's one of the peaks that you will find there. And as I was telling you, and then we are moving now more in the north to La Libertad, Huancar, y Lambayeque regions. Okay, so here is all it's a place that we call it the Moche route. And why? Because most of the Moche and Chimu cultures were settled here, and you will find again a special archaeological site that they are different from each other. This one that you are looking here is the Chan Chan, and Chan Chan was made of mud, the whole archaeological site, and it's as special as you can see it here. And then we have Huaca del Sol y la Luna, where you will find built an archaeological site with paintings with the color from that time. Now you can see here they were using red and yellow colors, and you will find it as it is in this picture. Okay, and some other expression, El Brujo complex, and we have developed some nice museums that host all the artifacts, all the pottery that were found on that areas. So you will find it here, for example, in Cow Museum, with all the gold and silver ornament that were found on that area. And one special place also in that area, it's the Señor de Zipan. So this is a tomb that were from the Zipan Lord, and he was buried with people. So if you visit those places, you will learn about those ancient culture and how they were living and what they were believing. You know, people that were buried with three women, one kid, his dog, and you would what? So you get surprised about I don't know, the believers, you know, what they were believing, why they were thinking that they were going to a different place, and they were going with all family and concubines and everything that they were having. So it's a special place to visit to understand the ancient cultures of Peru and from the world, because it's part of the world, And in this area, I think that the Mocho route and the north of Peru, that if you go after Ancash and you visit Lambayeque and Libertad, I was mentioning, the most important things are the ecological sites, but you are in the coast, so you have beaches. And so and in Lambayeque and La Libertad, you also have that area that is called Huanchaco, where you will find some fishers that is still used as a kind of a totora board, as you can see in this picture. And if you go more in the north, you will find nice beaches. But it's not very common for international tourism. Normally, most of the Lima people go there, to have some warm water when it's not that warm here in Lima. But you still have the time and you want to do this, you can also go and visit the north beaches of Peru, where there's not a lot, there's no crowds there, and they are just empty, and the beaches are just by yourself. But yeah, so this is most of what you can find in Peru. There are more places, but I think that I'm just going over the main attractions that we have in Peru. So here I'm leaving you my contact. If you have any extra questions, I guess Amarilis can answer those questions pretty well, but just in case, I'm here for you.
And I'm never going to be able to answer them as well as you do. So thank you. I really appreciate. The other thing I had seen this documentary about the northern beaches in Peru. And if any of you guys ever want to learn to surf, my understanding is that one of those beaches has the longest wave in the world. Literally, like it starts from one end of the beach and it goes to the other in one continuous flow. So just one of those useless pieces of information that I have in my brain that I thought I would share with someone. So it's 8:06. We're kind of over the hour. My apologies. I don't want to keep everybody from their families and everything else they do in the evening, but I was not lying when I said Peru has a lot to offer. I mean, seriously, you can see quite a bit. I'm going to ask you, Cecilia, to pass me back the host. Oh, I got it.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. No, I got it. It's okay.
It's okay. You got it. You got
it. So, does anybody have any questions before we head out for the evening?
Well, I mean, I was going to ask, but maybe Amaryllis, you can answer it for me later because it is late. But like, if you were going to plan a trip, there seemed like there was so much. Like, I wouldn't know, like, what are the things that are like maybe must do for someone who's never been there before? Like maybe things that you would recommend that are definitely you see or do. Maybe if you're there for like 6 days or something. I mean, maybe not giving me everyday itinerary, but I'm just curious because there is a lot. I was actually really surprised. Like how little I know about Peru.
Well, I think I would answer that question by probably asking you, what are, like, I know some people who will never want to go to the rainforest, okay? Just to the jungle. Like, I just know there are some people. So the conversation would probably go like, do you want to see the jungle? Do you want to see the mountains? Like, what appeals to you the most? And then in most cases, I think most people that are going to Peru, and Cecilia, correct me if I'm wrong, but they do want to see the Machu Picchu's, and they do want to go to the Cusco's, and they do want to go, to certain parts of the country. So then it becomes, if that is a must on your list, like let's say you say to me, I want to see Machu Picchu. Now we're going to look at how much time do you have there? How do we make sure that you're there and you get some time to acclimate to the elevation? And then how do we, like, because you're going to have to navigate flying from you're going to have to fly from like Lima to Cusco, or from another part of the region to get to Cusco. So you have to build all those factors into your itinerary.
Okay.
So it's not one of those like really simple questions to answer.
Yeah,
It's really
yeah.
based on your particular preferences. And then what's a must on your list based on all the options that you have. And then how do we combine all of that and make it work with the time that you have?
Okay, got it,
Sorry,
got
So,
it.
that's a long answer. Go
if
ahead.
I
Sophie.
have to give a recommendation, as Maria was saying, yes, it depends on your expectations, what you're expecting from the country, and what you normally enjoy doing when you travel, when you're traveling. But to be like on the standard way, what people normally do is arrive in Lima and go to Cusco, and you are talking about 6 days, no, or 6 or 7 days. So if
Yeah.
you come to Peru, you arrive in Lima and then you go to Cusco, and Cusco needs at least 4 days. In this 4 days to visit Machu Picchu, Sacsayhuaman, you know, the city tour, and everything. So you need 4 days there. So then you have just 2, and you know you have to check with your flight time. But I would say spend time in Lima. The other 2 days. If you decided no, yeah, Peru is huge, I want to explore it, or I saw this presentation and now I love the jungle, I want to go to the jungle, I would tell spend 3 more days at least in the jungle. So you can go Lima, Cusco, and an extension to Madre de Dios, 3 more days. So that will be 9 days. So in 9 days you can visit jungle, Cusco, and Lima. But you said no, the jungle is not for me, I'm just scared. But I will tell, it's not, you don't have to be scared, it's pretty safe. Really, you go to guides, but it's another conversation. But if you said no, okay, I don't want to go through jungle, but for me the culture is special, to be in touch with communities is special. So I would say, okay, so go to Cusco and spend a couple of days in Puno, and go to Puno and stay in the islands and visit the Uros community, okay? But then it will depend. You can complement that with Ica or with Arequipa, which are special cities and they have particular things to do there. But just to give you some of the standard things, Lima, Cusco, and then you can choose between Puno or Madre de Dios. Or if you want to be more comfortable in the jungle, you can choose to fly to Iquitos in the North Jungle and do the river cruises. And river cruises, you will need 4 days. 4 days, 3 nights. You have some itineraries that are 4 days, 3 nights. So that will give you a little bit more. So maybe you can ask just for 2 weeks. You know? Yeah,
And
you will see.
you gotta do a trip to Peru.
Yeah, well, so I did 11 days in Peru, 10 days in Peru. And I did Lima for a couple of days. Then I did a couple of days down in the Ica region. So I went to like Paracas National Park. I went to Ballesta Islands. I went to Huacachina, which is the desert. There's a desert oasis town there. So did a couple of days there. Then I did driving. Like we drove down to this area, which is probably like a good couple of hours driving to get down there. And then I had to drive back to Lima and fly to Cusco. And in Cusco, we spent a good 4 or 5 days, I think. One, to get acclimated. We did Machu Picchu, and then we took a day in between to rest. And then the next day we did Rainbow Mountain, because that in itself was just
Wow.
like
Okay.
that required a whole day in itself, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, then I flew back to Lima for a couple of days and I did some stuff in Lima. So it really, again, just I know that's a long answer to your question, but it's really dependent on each person.
Okay. Okay.
I feel like I need a month there.
Yeah, I'm telling you, a couple of months there.
Yes, you need a month at least to visit all. Yeah, and because I know that we are a cultural destination, and that we have a lot of archaeological sites. That I was saying during the whole presentation, there are so many different archaeological sites from different cultures, pre-Incan cultures, Chachapoya, Chavin, Moche, Chimu, Aymaras, and they are different. And they are special. So yeah, you need time and you need to fly, because even if the flights are not that long, you still need to coordinate your schedule, to see that everything matches.
Yeah.
And yes, but for sure you will need. It's a destination that needs time. Yeah. To spend. But if you don't have it, just do the standard one, but just don't miss it. It's a must, the bucket list for the people. Yeah.
or you just break it down into multiple trips, right? So you do,
Yeah.
you know, you do a couple of regions in one trip and a couple of regions in another trip, you know. So
Yeah.
I know it's harder for us Americans. We don't get quite as much time off as like Europeans and other folks. So any other questions before we head out?
I have one.
Yeah.
Go
if
ahead,
some-
Sharon.
Okay, so you've mentioned many archaeological sites. I love archaeology on a high level, and the only spot I was familiar with was Machu Picchu. And so I'd love to learn more about the other sites you're talking about. Can you direct me to a website or a book?
Yes, well, we normally have the web page that I just shared with you at the beginning, where you can find all the experiences that you can find there in Peru, like cultural archaeological sites. And then, for example, I can, if you leave me your email, I can add you to our newsletter so you can receive more information related to the,
Great.
yeah.
That would be great because I wasn't able to log in the beginning, so I think I missed
Oh, yeah. So we normally send some nice newsletters, like talking about the different
Awesome. Yeah.
experiences that you can find here in the
Can't wait
country.
to sign up.
So
Thank
you
you.
get inspired.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Cecilia, I'll send you an email with Sharon on copy,
Thank
and
you.
that way you can share what you need with her.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions? Crickets.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Cecilia, for that great presentation. I know we had some technical difficulties. My
Oh.
apologies to everyone. I appreciate you guys attending and asking questions. And Cecilia, we can't wait to come. Well, I can't wait to go back, and I'm sure there's people who can't wait to go for the first time. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think Lindsay's right. I might have to put a group trip together to go to Peru.
Yes.
So I can get everyone there.
You can get a tip from me if you want.
Yes, for sure. We'll
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
I'm
that
happy.
in chat.
I love to talk about my country. There's a lot to see, so I just enjoy sharing, all what we have. So happy to be here and happy to help at anything that you need.
Well, thank you again. And everyone else, thank you for your time as well. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Sharon, I will put you in touch with Cecilia, and we'll go from there. Thanks, guys. Have a
Okay.
wonderful evening and enjoy the rest of your weeks.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.